Today's the 30th of January. This is Brad Matheny. This is the Plan Your Trade video for the 30th of January. And we're moving into a topping pattern today with a short-term trend moving into warning section right now. This is because the markets have rolled over, obviously, on Monday and moved a bit downward. This topping pattern is in trending mode. You know, we've had a high up here around 609, 610. And what we're really looking at right now is this pullback. Yesterday's pullback into this area. Give you a little hint. We're looking at a fairly common kind of a range here. When you see where we're at here, we're in the midst of a Fibonacci congestion pattern, which essentially prompts a move from basically this low up to this rejection point. And you can see that we're trading within the 382 and 618 level. This is typically like a congestion range. In other words, price is uncertain, doesn't know where to go. This is a perfect kind of a pullback into that congestion range. Okay, in my interpretation of the cycle patterns and what we're looking for is a moderate breakdown here, moving into a low, back over here, moving into, like I said, a rally for a couple of days, then a counter trend rally, then a carryover, which will be down, I believe, moving into this island star reversal. I've tried to draw it here, so, you know, didn't expect this big pullback, but it is what it is. What we're going to be looking at today is the topping pattern, which is back here. I'm trying to get to it. It's below this line right here. And again, I drew these early this week, and we've had this little pullback. What I'm looking for is kind of a top in the markets, rolling then downward into tomorrow. And if you look at the way this is setting up right now, I'll go down here to hourly. If my analysis is correct and we get this little topping pattern, we're going to see potentially drag this over so you can see a little more. We're going to potentially be looking at kind of a move like this, kind of moving up into a top, rolling downward into sideways lows, and then some sort of a breakdown tomorrow into Friday, leading us downward. Now, do I think it'll be this deep down into the 580s? I don't know. I mean, if we break this congestion area, remember the 682 to 618 to 382 area, this area here, this rectangle, we're obviously going to try to attempt to move down into these lows, which will be the next stage, moving down into these areas, 594 on this retest. Now, you can also see that I drew the other day that we have this kind of an excess phase peak pattern setting up. So let me put this back. And you can see that I've drawn this excess phase peak pattern here that is playing out currently in the SPY, and a breakdown below this low level here, 594, these lows back here, would move us back into consolidation. And I believe the consolidation is going to be, if it happens, down here near these pre-election lows. These are the pre-January lows. So I believe we're going to be coming right back down into these lows, looking for some support. And that's where we're getting into this deeper low cycle. If we break down into congestion, into this area, and then get that deep V ultimate low, then we could be setting up for kind of a move just like this. Breaking down, consolidating around 580, 584, 586, rolling down into the deep low around February, and then rolling back out of it, setting up another potential deep low back here around the 21st of February. So going to be very interesting. If my analysis is correct, we should be rolling into a top and then a breakdown pattern, and then potentially, like I said, either retesting these lows at 595. So I'll mark it here, retesting these lows, or coming all the way down here to these lows, call it 581. And those are the areas that I would be expecting the markets to try to target over the next 6 to 7 maybe days, and by the end of next week. I don't think we're going to get into these deep lows until the following week around the 10th or 11th or 12th. But again, we could move down through this area and break down pretty hard. So let's see what happens. But basically what I'm trying to suggest to you is my topping pattern back over here, major top, sell here, which I highlighted back right over here. You can see it happened about 2-3 days later. And now we're moving into my buy zone back over here. Now remember, I marked all of these months in advance, okay, telling you where these base and peaks and tops and everything would be. So now we're going to just watch and see how it plays out. If my analysis is correct, it'll play out exactly how I proposed. And remember, we're at the 30th today, so I'm projecting out, another 40, 30, 35, 40 days plus out into the future, and we'll just see how this plays out. If I'm correct, wonderful. If I'm incorrect, then, well, we'll deal with it. Okay, now let's look at the QQQ. Again, topping pattern today. Again, you can see here as it loads, if you take a look at this Fibonacci, we're in the midst of this range. Okay, so again, you can come here and you can see the 382 to 618 level. 382 to 618 ends is right here. So that's our consolidation range, and we're getting into that breakdown mode, which is going to be probably very similar to this, with that topping pattern and with that rollover of the excess phase peak pattern. You can see we've got two of them, a big broad one right here in this red and a little tiny one here in this blue. So now if we get this breakdown, we're likely going to be moving down into this hedging formation, this buy hedge marker right over here with the double low. These are the double lows right here. Mark these a little darker. These are the double lows, and I think we're probably going to see the 490, 488. Let's call it 490 to 494 area. So over here, 490 to 494 area. And that would mean that we're looking at a breakdown on the Qs over the next 7 to 10 days of about 5.5%, about 28 points downward. And like I said, we have to be cautious of this flag low running right across here. That would be the next target level to try to run to. That would be 511 basically. So after that, we would move down to potentially this low here, but 499. Let's basically call it 500. And then from there, possibly down into this deep low pattern here. So we're looking at if we get a good breakdown today and tomorrow, we're going to be moving into a fairly solid downward cycle trend into this area or this area. So we're going to be moving down into a fairly solid breakdown into 511 to roughly 500, in my opinion, over the next, call it 7 to 15 days, trading days. That's about 3 weeks. So going into this 20th or this 10th, 11th, 12th area, we're going to possibly be below 500, maybe below 490 on the QQQ. So we're going to be looking for that double bottom. So don't get super excited unless this is really low. If this is below, say, 486, 487, then maybe start buying back over here. We're looking more to buy into this second low here. So this is the real buy zone right over here, the secondary low. That's the real buy zone. If we get a secondary low here, or here, or here, or even lower down here, that's the real buy zone, because then we move into a rally phase until about March 21st or so. Okay, so again, picking these tops and bottoms very cleanly. Want you to pay attention to this. I'm sure you guys are, following along. And if you're not, welcome aboard. As you can see, I go back through all of this data and show you again, where we're at. Now, I've got other stuff that I've deleted back over here, but we're doing buy here, sell here, all the way up, move to cash, hedge here, anchor lows, buy here, anomaly event here, counting the waves all the way up, exhaustion patterns all the way up to 12, move to cash, sell here, buy anchor down here, hedge sell here, and now we're moving into that buy anchor low back over here. So, pay attention here. This is going all the way back to October. So 4 months of predicting the market, if not longer. You go back and look at my older videos, but 4 months of predicting the market's peaks and troughs very, very cleanly, guys. Okay, it's up to you to make the trading decisions. I do the research. I want you guys to learn how to trade these things efficiently, and I love it. I get emails from people all the time telling me how well they're doing. Some people are doing, 800 to 1200 to 1500% a month with my research, trading options. And that's, incredible, really incredible. Okay, so now we're going to go take a look at gold and silver. Gold is ripping today. We had the rollover of the contract month. So we're probably trading April or May right now. We're moving out into the this is a contract rollover. Big move up. We're getting a lot of pressure to the upside now. 28.20, 28.30. This is a rollover contract month. So the reality here, guys, is let me come back over here to 4 hour and explain again that we are in that big breakout phase. Might as well just go to daily. We're in that big breakout phase. We're in that massive expansion phase. And as I warned you, we could move, dramatically higher over the next 30, 60, 90 days. I don't need, I'll go over it again if you want. I don't really have time this morning, but, take a look at these lines that I've drawn and just understand that back in 2004 and 5, the last major expansion phase we got into, the big rally took place over about 45, 55 days. Okay. And it shot up like $700 in that time frame in 2004 and 5. A similar type of rally would put gold up in this 4,300, 4,500 area. And I'm trying to tell you that by, March, April, May, we may see a rally here that's just ungodly. And I want you to remember who told it to you, but we could see a 50% rally or more in gold, up $1,400, which will make a lot of money to people. And I'm telling you right now, we've got a big, massive blowout taking place on this big rally. So understand that we're looking at a big move potentially up into this 33, 3,400 area before we stall. I think that could take place in 30, 35 days. Then this will maybe be, 60, 65 days later. Silver is going to do pretty much the same thing, but it's going to lag behind gold. And silver's got a pretty good chance of moving. Oops. What did I do? Invalid symbol? All right, let's try this again. Silver futures. There we go. Don't know why I didn't like what I typed in, but okay. Okay, so long and short of it, we're looking at a breakout. You can see this flagging. We're apexing. Gold is going to rally higher than silver. Okay, in other words, gold's going to make a big move and silver's going to lag. But boy, silver's really going to break away when it finally does make that move. And again, that move is going to look a lot like this over the next time frame. So we're looking at a doubling potentially in silver. Up 40%, 45%. Yeah, my target's right now about 46, 48 on the upside. I think then we move into a broadening cycle phase. It may not take as long as I've drawn here. So we may be looking more like this following gold's rally and then stalling out a little bit and then moving up into the 55, 65 area. And I think that's pretty common. Probably by, if this hits here in May, we move through consolidation. Yeah, silver would likely then continue to consolidate upward, maybe up into this 50, 55 area. Okay, so we've got a pretty good little rally here taking place from this area. We're going to consolidate a bit here and then rally. So I think 46, 45, 46 is the next target for silver, and then up to 55, 56 here, because we've got to get through this expansion phase, which will contract through really out here in September and then start to rally. And so this move here in silver, this area here is going to be fairly wide consolidation before we get a breakout. So remember, you're looking at pretty much end of the year, September, October, November, to be up in this area. And you're looking at a pretty strong rally up to about 44, 45, 46 by probably end of May, or end of April, early May. A bit of consolidation into July, into August, and then another little rally here. And this move, each of these moves are pretty solid. So you think about this, it's 40%. You think about this, it's another 21%, maybe higher. And that's kind of, the same type of market move we have here. This is a 17% move. And this is a 31% move. So you've got some pretty good, really, opportunities here for metals. They're playing out beautifully, really. And this big move here, if this carries forward today, again, gold and silver cycle patterns are a harami inside after this big gap. Doesn't look like we're going to have that. Looks like we're moving more towards the temporary bottom. We'll see how this plays out. It's bullish, but I mean, gold is really making a move over here. You can see it daily. Gold is making a very solid move to the upside. And again, because of the demand, gold is hedging risk factors throughout the world. And there is literally, in my opinion, at this point, nothing is going to stop gold from doing what gold will do, hedging the risks moving higher. Silver is also breaking out beautifully. Let me come back down here to hourly and back down here to hourly. We're getting good, solid breakaway trends. I mean, you can see this is just a ripper rally taking off over the last couple of days. Here's the 29th. Here's the 30th, since right here. And we're moving from 31.60 up to 32. That's 40, 40 cents. It's at 31.60 to 32. Yeah, 35 cents. Look, it's up 69 cents, basically. 2.25%. Here, gold is up 54 bucks. Beautiful. Now, this was a contract rollover, but what happens with a rollover, you typically get a lot of money rolling into the new contract month. So get a good, powerful move with momentum. Okay, lastly, we're going to come over here and we're going to go to Bitcoin. And we got 1 hour Bitcoin, shrink it down. And again, we're rolling through that apex. We did not get the breakdown that I expected. You can see here through this apex moving down A, B, C, D, E. We did not get that move. We came right back up to retest this support level. So this is, there's the resistance level, sorry, called it support. We're back above this apexing level. This apexing level is important. We need to take a look at this from a standpoint of where we're at, pulling back, pulling down, rolling up. In a way, we have a inverted excess phase peak pattern. Get rid of some of these. So you can kind of see it here. I see it rolling down, pulling back into the flag, breaking down into consolidation. And now at this consolidation, we're either going to break up into the ultimate high again, probably retesting this high, or we're going to invalidate and move back downwards. So at this point, I see that Bitcoin is in this consolidation, this inverted cycle phase pattern, setting up into the consolidation mode. We've run across a number of, peaking areas back over here that set up resistance. Same thing back here. I would be cautious right now of the rotation that's going to take place because the U.S. market, the SPY, and the NASDAQ, to me, look like they're going to break down. Gold and silver are hedging against risk. Got to watch the dollar down at 108. And we really got to watch yields, which spiked up a little bit yesterday. So given where we're at, I would be very cautious of this consolidation pattern. We may get a little spike. I'll be honest with you. We may get a little spike that goes blip and comes back down off of some sort of a peaking, an ultimate peaking pattern. And like I said, we've got to go a long way back to try to find that original peak. So when we come back over here, this is 108.30, a 108,000, 108,300, almost 400 plays and has played consistent resistance. We might get above it a little bit over here, rolling around, but if we get that final move on the excess phase peak pattern to the ultimate high, I'll bet you it's going to retest the 108,400 area, 108,400, and then roll. Ultimately, this apex pattern that I just drew, this little red one, did not play out as I expected, and we'll see how it plays out because, like I said, this excess phase peak pattern took over. We're now in the consolidation phase. We need to see how this rolls, if it rolls, and go from there. Okay, guys, I will talk to you later. That's it. Let's go get some today. Remember, we're looking at a topping pattern. So remember, we're looking at a topping pattern in the SPY setting up in a warning signal. I think we're going to get some downward trending. We're going to see how it plays out. Right now, the markets are up 1.49, up at 603.30. So, we're coming back right into that previous top zone. You see right here, we're opening right at yesterday's, 2 days ago, close, Tuesday's close. So again, we could get a very easy rollover pattern right over here off of this consolidation range and this upper 382 to 618 area. That'd be roughly 603.99 It's about 60 cents, 70 cents higher than where we're at right now. Looking for a rolling top pattern to begin to move downward. Okay, guys, talk to you later.